my name is Isabel de Clercq. I live in Antwerp in Belgium. And in fact, I work on the topic of new ways of working, new ways of learning, new ways of leading since 2012. But in fact, I started working in 1990. And even then already I was passionate about the power of language and how language helps people to develop themselves.
So in Belgium you have two languages.
We even have three languages.
Three languages, okay.
We have Flemish, Nederlands.
Yeah.
We have French, le français, and we even have German.
Which part are you from?
I'm from the northern part.
So
but I speak very well. Yeah,
yeah.
but I also speak French.
Yeah.
And my German is not good enough. But I understand a lot, but I don't speak it.
Yeah, but let's start with a shameless promotion.
Yes, of course, why not? I'm very proud of it.
You have written and organized a book about Vernetzt Arbeiten, connected working. Can you tell us a bit about it?
Yeah. It started in 2016. I was on Facebook because of my children were on Facebook. And I started posting about knowledge sharing and social technologies. And then there was this guy who was following me. And he said, Isabel, we have to talk about digital transformation. And I invited him to my house. And it was June 2016. And he said, I'm not here to talk about digital transformation. I'm here to talk about the book that you are going to write. Okay. And I said, I'm not going to write a book because I'm not able to do that. But you have to know that since I was a child, I was crazy about books. My house is full of books. And then, so after 30 minutes, he left. But then he planted, this idea in my head. And then I started to write stories, informal stories on Facebook. And then in October, I thought, I really want to write this book. In December, I had gathered an international team of co-authors that come from all around the world. And in April, the book was written. Isn't that great? But first in English, 2017. And then I was invited by Daimler in Stuttgart. And there I met Alexander Kluge. And I said, Alexander, maybe I should republish the book in German. And he said, that's a good idea, because if you want to speak in Germany, then people just want to know if you have written a book, even if they don't read your book. And then I found a German publisher, Frankfurter Allgemeiner Buch. And then so it was published in 2018 in October, and it was at the Frankfurter Buchmesse. So yes, and I think that the German title is more beautiful than the English title.
What's
the English title is Social Technologies in Business.
Okay, yeah.
Vernetzt Arbeiten. Besser. Yeah.
And you said me that most of your co-authors you never had met in person.
No, I have met them on Twitter and on Facebook and on LinkedIn. For example, Simon Terry, I met him, I think it's on LinkedIn. I've never met him before physically. And Rita Zorius from Australia, I met her on Twitter. But then last year she visited Europe, and then she came to my house. But half of them I've never met them in physically, on social media.
And in their articles they give advice how to use social tools, how to work more social, how to build a connection, how to build internal networks.
What surprised me is that at the beginning, in fact, you have 4 parts in the book. I didn't have the 4 parts in my head when we started. The thing that I had in my head was the structure of each chapter. So for me, it was very clear how each chapter had to be, like 1,500 words, the tone of voice, that it had to be concrete and inspirational. And so I had written some guidelines about each chapter. And I had written 3 or 4 chapters myself to give them an example. And then they started, writing chapters about their favorite topics. And then by doing so, the structure, the 4 parts, it just emerged naturally. Yeah. But the basic structure of each chapter was given by me. And then the rest came by itself.
What are your advices for Vernetzt Arbeiten from your working experience? How can we really work connected in companies? Yeah. What are maybe the 3 killer features we have to implement that it works?
Yeah. I think that we need a lot of training for people, because we think that because people post on Facebook and on Instagram that they know how to share their knowledge. They don't. It requires a new mindset and new skills. And so people need help. That's one thing. It should be clear for people why the organization should become more connected. Why are we doing that? And translate it into concrete behavior. And that's a very difficult thing to do, because you can talk about agility and efficiency and productivity, and you can talk about, you can raise your voice and your talents become more visible, but people don't always buy these arguments. So it's
do they
difficult.
Need a purpose why they should do it?
But maybe the purpose for every person who works is different. And sometimes I really ask myself, why I am doing this? And I think that by helping people how to share their knowledge, they become happier people. But it's not like that for everybody. So we should also leave each individual in their own choices. So there is training, there is concrete behavior, organizational why, and then I think we should also encourage and promote knowledge sharing, breaking down silos. But there is still a huge way, a lot of work to be done.
When you talk about training, is it just technical training, how to post and how to use this tool, or is it also more about content? What can I post? How can I answer questions? Is it good to like something or?
Yeah. You have to work on the mindset and the skills. Not just mindset or not just skills, but I always try to combine both of them. And then you can talk about the mindset that you have a lot of advantages when you make part of a community, but then people only buy it when they start to do exercises, so building skills so that they can really feel the advantages of the community. So I always work on both, and mindset and skills. And about the skills, I use in fact my 3C model, how to consume information in a very directed way, in a very proactive way, how to contribute, and how to create. And with that model and giving them concrete examples and exercises, and I also do peer coaching, then I see a lot of evolution, but it takes some time. And so it's important to work on mindset and on skills. And I have a name for this learning track. It's called Connect, Share, Lead. And in fact, it was the subtitle of the original book. So you should connect with the right people who are more intelligent than you, from whom you can learn. Share other people's knowledge, share your own knowledge, and then lead. You become, you go to self-leadership, and the organization becomes more agile and more productive.
Is there one of the 3 C's more important than the others, or are they always should start with that?
Well, you start by consuming.
Yeah.
That's the easy one. I think there is a lot of beauty in contributing, because contributing means that
commenting.
You listen, commenting.
Yeah.
So contributing means, for example, this podcast. Somebody should say, I find this interesting. He posts this on his LinkedIn network, for example, but he adds a layer of information, like summarizing it. Contributing and commenting is very beautiful, because it means that you listen to other people. You translate knowledge from other people into something useful for the community. It's about giving, listening.
Where can we get more information about the 3C model? You have a website?
I have a website from my company. It's called Connect, Share, Lead. So www.connectsharelead.com. I have also a blog on that website. I share my knowledge like every day on LinkedIn. I am also on Twitter. I am also on SoundCloud.
You have done
Connect,
a podcast,
Share,
right?
Lead. Yes, I have done.
How it's running?
I just have done 2 of them, but I already have a lot of ideas in my head to do a next one.
Isabel, thank you very much.
Yes, and so if you want to learn more about Vernetzt Arbeiten, I hope that people want to buy the book and that they are inspired by the ideas that they find in it.
Okay, thank you very much.